I'm just going to come out and say it. This is a modern deck, but you could probably play this one in Legacy without being embarrassed. This list is hot. Hello, folks. Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU, here for a modern video. And Carson has submitted a real banger here. This deck list looks very clean. This is a black-white blink deck list in modern that very much has Death and Taxes style vibes. Less taxation and more death, though. So we have the energy core of Guide of Souls plus Ocelot Pride plus Ajani to get us out of the early game. But what has really impressed me about this deck list, when I've seen it on the other side of the table, or at least decks like it, is Overlord of the Balemurk. This card has gone up and up and up in price. I believe it is currently sitting at around $70. I think I saw a post of that nature earlier today. And honestly, I am not surprised. So this is a non-blue cantrip that lets you return a lot of cards. I'm going to look at the exact wording here in case you're not familiar with this. When it enters or attacks, mill 4, then you may return a non-avatar creature card or a planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. It does not have to be one of the 4 cards that you milled, which I think is easy to miss on your first read of this card. So what often ends up happening is you can blink this a couple of times with a Flickerwisp or a Felia or whatever and get massive, massive value off of it. So you impend it for 2 mana, you then blink it at some point later, you get another trigger on it, and then it can start attacking. And this thing repeatedly bringing back Solitudes is, well, it's some shit. It's very frustrating to play against. It is a very, very strong engine. And we also can do Solitude Ephemerate things, Overlord of the Balemurk Ephemerate things. This deck list looks really, really solid. I'm very excited to play this one. As far as the sideboard goes here, we are a Recruiter of the Guard deck, so you'll notice that there's a large number of silver bullets for Recruiter of the Guard, including one I haven't seen in a hot minute, Orzhov Pontiff. Pest Control is another really strong card here. I think it's worth talking about this one specifically, as we are an Ocelot Pride Guide of Souls tokens deck. So this can do a lot of damage to us, but this might be one of those things where it is just so objectively powerful that it is worth playing, even if it comes with some collateral damage, because it will clear off so much opposing stuff. Also, we should assume that we have inevitability over most decks in the format. So if we do kill some of our own stuff in the early game, I don't actually think that that's going to be the end of the world. I don't know if some of these numbers for these Singleton Hate Bears are right or not without playing some reps with the deck, but I feel really, really good about this one. And if you like this deck and you feel like you need some cards for it, please consider ordering from my sponsor, TOAMagic.com. Tales of Adventure is an awesome store. You always get free shipping, no matter sort of when or where you're ordering. And promo code ThrabenU will save you 5% on top of that on your order. With that being said, let's battle. This hand looks perfectly fine. We do have 2 lands here. Ooh, oh geez, my volume is way too loud. Down, 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 down. Polluted Delta, sure. I think I'm pretty much always taking 3 damage off of this land, so I'm just going to get that out of the way now. And just fire off Guide of Souls. I think I am playing Felia on my opponent's end step on my turn 2. And then playing Ajani, Blink Ajani from there. I think that's the direction that I'm going. But things could change. That is a Psychic Frog. Sure, don't remove that as of right now. We have a lot of Blink in the not too distant future. I have no black cards in hand. I already have a black mana source. I think I am comfortable not taking additional damage here. Grab a Plains. I guess there's actual factual counterspell to think about in this format. I think I'm fine with this. Although I think I should not have fetched yet. That telegraphs, I think, that I'm playing Felia. So slightly longer term, I have Solitude and potentially Ephemerate Solitude as things that are going to happen. Oh, buddy, I don't like where this is going. That means that my opponent is just going to unearth that immediately. Yep. Hate that. I think we are very likely to get out-tempoed here. So let's try Felia. I think the aforementioned counterspell is happening. Yes. Now my opponent manifests Dread. And this ETB tapped land is a really big deal here. Ooh, I will absolutely draw that. That's quite important. But the Ajani is not super potent here, as this flies and this flies if you look at it funny sideways. I think we're okay if there is not another counterspell at play here. And if there is another actual factual counterspell, I think I die when my Solitude gets countered. I think that was a really good opportunity to Thought Scour me and remove the card that I kept on top of my deck from play. I think I am comfortable blocking this creature with the cat. Wait, Psychic Frog is not flying? Huh, that's more interesting. I could stop my opponent from drawing a card here instead. I think I will do. Think into Stupor. Sure. Just reasonable tempo play to take. Now, we are going to Solitude. Pitching an Ajani. It has resolved. We'll junk the Oculus first. I will Ephemerate the Solitude. Nice. We will junk the Psychic Frog. I now have 4 energy. I don't have to sacrifice my creature anymore. I don't think I need to leave an Ephemerate up. I think I can just go ahead and get this into play. Very nice. Let's just always yield to all energy stuff. Make a cat. Go to Punchies. Punchies. And we will be paying the energy. Man, that game went from hopeless to what a fucking board state we have nearly instantly. You know, one of these could secretly be a another Oculus or something, and that might be a little bit annoying. But otherwise, I have probably transitioned into the beatdown pretty well here. That's a third cantrip. That is not the turn that my opponent wanted to have there. Oh yeah, I get to rebound. Sure. On Solitude. Good shit. Take out one of these. Skyclave is whatever. Are we just like going? I don't think so. I think I'm playing Recruiter. Ajani is a May, right? Yes, Ajani is a May. I think we're gonna go ahead and send it. Yes. Just push that through this creature. You can trade with this cat if you want. I will just keep my 3/4 body. Yeah. That's fine with me. Now I will Recruiter of the Guard. Gain even more energy. Yes. You're a counterspell? Yeah, that's a reasonable tempo play. Ocelot Pride, Guide of Souls is reasonable here. Emperor of Bones could get me a Murktide Regent or Psychic Frog. I could just get another Solitude because it's Solitude. Get Flickerwisp to kill a token. Boggart Trawler to clear the entire graveyard. I'm just going to get something that is inexpensive here. So there is a Murktide Regent, which my opponent can make very, very big. But that's not going to matter here. We will Ephemerate a Solitude. The opponent can nuke their own graveyard if they want to grow Murktide Regent. No, they are going to exile my own graveyard. I wasn't doing a lot with it, so that's fine with me. I will nuke the 8/8 Murktide Regent. I will go to Punchies. I will do Punchies. I will pay the energy. I will put those counters on Recruiter of the Guard. My opponent just takes the hit. Goes to 13. I will drop Ocelot Pride. Gain more energy. I have the City's Blessing. And this is real cool if you haven't seen this before. Now that means I get double triggers on everything. It's just kind of gross. We have a Psychic Frog or an Oculus covered. I can just Ephemerate Solitude again on my own turn. This is what I was talking about with the inevitability of this deck being just kind of fucking insane. And that is enough for our opponent to concede. So I don't have something like Rest in Peace that just says no to the entire graveyard. I can say no to the black cards in graveyard. And no to black removal. Fairy Macabre's okay. Containment Priest's okay. This on 1 is reasonable. To stop the Unearths, the Thought Seizes, the gajillion 1-mana blue self-mill cards. So the bigger question here is any of this stuff better than stuff that's already in the deck? I already have a Boggart Trawler that I can search for if I need something to nuke my opponent's graveyard. These are fine versus Unearth specifically, but are unimpressive versus Psychic Frog or Murktide Regent. I am unsure about Aven Interrupter here. I don't know if that is necessary. Feels slow on the draw. It kind of seems like what I'm doing is just fine versus my opponent. I might just play one of these 3 cards. I'm going to play 1 Fairy. It is possible that I should sideboard more than this, though. Is the 1-lander fine if it looks like this? I'm going to hope that this is fine. This is 3 very good 1-drops, and if I spike a land into draws, like, this is just kind of nuts in terms of tempo. Accumulates energy just so very quickly, and has access to Solitude for a little bit later. We'll drop Guide of Souls on 1. So the big fear here is Frog into have Counterspell up for the future. Okay, there's part 1. That's fine. I will pitch a Recruiter. I think I want to play Ocelot Pride this turn, rather than the other Guide of Souls. So goodbye. Play Ocelot Pride, and this is just going to get the engine going. Opponent gets hit for 1 here, and then I start making cats. Now I have 3 energy. I can start doing really good Guide of Soul things from here. Opponent does not immediately have enough cards in graveyard to play an Oculus. An Unearth could happen. Another Psychic Frog is quite good. Sure. What am I doing? I think I'm playing the Overlord and just junking Psychic Frog. Let's fetch. I don't really need black here. Let's just go ahead and impending this. Kill some cards. Return Solitude. Holy shit, I built 4 lands off the top of my deck. Seems good. Fatal Push. You got it. We'll junk Psychic Frog here. Now I have some bonus energy. I will go ahead and I'll put on the Guide of Souls itself. Then we will tick this down once per turn cycle. So we've got some self-mill. Oh shit, I have to worry about Toxic Deluge in Modern now. Forgot about that. So Counterspell could be online here. I'm probably going to just play a Felia on my opponent's turn. Felia Overlord is really good. Alright, my damage goes through. I'll just pass the turn here. Keep ticking this down. Oh, it's cycling on Unearth since I exiled my opponent's things. Toxic Deluge is a thing. I guess I wait. I can play around Counterspell by casting there, or I can play around Toxic Deluge by waiting. See what my opponent's got. A Surveil land. Ooh, they like the card. So let's cast Felia. Stern Scolding. Sure. Now I'm probably going to play some things on my own turn because it changes the amount of energy that I have. That's actual factual Counterspell. So now Felia does not change math for the attacks. Ascend in for 4. Opponent's down to 7. I think I'm just going to pass the turn rather than play out Felia now. I don't have enough format experience to know for sure the exact play patterns I should be doing in terms of jockeying for position. That's fine. Guess I can get black here. See what you've got. Okay, Felia is in play. Fantastic. Combat. And Felia will blink the Overlord. My opponent gets a valid block here. Goes to 3. I will go to end step. Unearth gets cycled. Then the Overlord comes back. It is a creature. Toxic Deluge is no longer an out. That was so good for us. This deck feels very strong against these blue-black decks. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, and honestly, they're just the best at what they do. If you need to keep your deck lists online, this is the way to do it. They have all sorts of different viewing options. You can condense that text if you like things to be tight. You can make them visual grids. You can put them in stacks. You've got all sorts of different ways to kind of view and visualize your deck lists. And they also have some really cool functionality, like allowing you to see playtest hands and even fully playtest your decks. So check them out. And seems sweet. I'm in. Like we have Overlord, Emperor of Bones, Overlord Ephemerate, Recruiter Ephemerate. That is awesome. Windswept Heath. It might be a Green Sun deck of some kind. Utopia Sprawl. Are we Enchantress, or is this just going to be something like an Eldrazi deck, or they call it a Ponza deck that tries to blow up my lands and make me sad? We'll find out. Boggart Trawler. I don't think I need that. Alright, it is just Eldrazi. Throwing Mycos Bond, still horrifying, of course, but slightly less so in this format. I think I am into impending here. Yes, holy moly, that's a lot of variety. Counterspell? Counterspell seems reasonable here. And of course our little friend ticks down. Nothing? Oh, that's not scary at all. But like, I showed my opponent this. Like, they know that's coming. So I don't know what's going on. But it's weird. Breeding Pool. That cast trigger is a thing. Can't blink that with Ephemerate, as it is not currently a creature. I don't think I'm countering that to let my opponent reuse that trigger. I think I'm going to Surveil land here. Skyclave, But let's just let that go. And then do this. Probably with this. Junk that creature. I think I am fine just putting a 3/2 lifelinker in play. Don't need to rebound here. Guide of Souls is whatever right now. I'm not super interested in that. I think I'm just going to hold up Aven Interrupter. I wouldn't hate an extra mana right now. Ugin's Labyrinth is a kicked Sowing Myco spawn. This is annoying versus my Aven Interrupter. Is this just a wash? Awkwardly, I think that's just a wash. Aven Interrupter feels bad against this deck. I think I should just not have been holding this up, and I should have been progressing my own board. Yeah, I think I just played that wrong. That I will just do because my opponent just, I think, objectively made a mistake. If they change phases, I just don't get to do this. I have a floating mana. So we'll just send that out, put the flyer into play, and be happy enough with that. Ooh, Guide of Souls Ocelot Pride is fine. I would be okay trading Solitude for Sowing Mycospawn here because of Emperor of Bones. Send it? Yeah, we're good with this trade. And Guide of Souls, Ocelot Pride. I still have a Solitude in case of emergency, and we're starting to build up some energy. I have Emperor of Bones and Recruiter of the Guard to rebuild if my opponent does something like All is Dust. Sure. Ozilek's Return, Emrakul the Promised End. Emrakul the Promised End. Protection from instants, not protection from cards named Solitude, though. But doesn't this nuke my shit? Yeah, that does. Very unfortunate how that all played out here. So then Sanctum of Ugin can also trigger. A World Breaker. My opponent gains control of my next turn, so I need to Solitude now. Just get rid of this before my opponent does something silly with the Solitude that I will be sad about. Luckily, it looks like about the worst my opponent can do here is cause me to deal 2 damage to myself. Okay, they don't even do that. They just don't make me make the land drop, which is reasonable. What is this? Exile, artifact, enchantment, or land? Sure. So, no on damage there. I will Emperor of Bones, which has some reasonable targets, I guess. I will exile something from my opponent's graveyard, I guess. I think my opponent is favored to win this game from here, but I don't think it is over. I currently beat the 5-7 that I know about. It's if my opponent has something else that things get a little more dicey. And they have 1 card left. Okay, cool. So we are in a top deck war. Alright. So combat, Solitude, do the thing, put in Solitude, Solitude World Breaker, hit for 7, importantly gaining life here. Then shock in Godless Shrine, play a cat, and then make another cat. So I have 6+1 damage each turn. How bad's the top deck? Pretty bad. Pretty bad. That 6/6 walls my Emperor of Bones. Which enchanter has minimal text as a creature here? I think I am just going to play that as a land. I have Overlord of the Balemurk to work towards. Balemurk. My opponent can just fetch to thin. If they have a surveil land, that's great for them. I think we are in the beatdown role in this matchup. I think we have fine endgame, but my opponent is casting 7 mana cards and my endgame is casting 5 mana cards, so I don't think this is the best. Malevolent Rumble, getting a Karn, sure. Opius Sprawl, this is crashing in. You don't trample or anything. I'll gain 6 life. I think if I miss on my draw, though, I'm just going to concede. I consider that a miss. I think the Annihilator 1 here alone just beats me from here. I could play it out, but with Karn and 2 Giant Bodies and Annihilator, I think that's just that. White Orchid Phantom is going to be great here. Most of my other cards are kind of mediocre. I could do some called shots with Sanctum Prelate, like putting it on 7 for All Is Dust, for example. Just don't know how reliable that is. It's only hitting non-creatures, so it's not like I can stop a lot of the big exile things anyway. So I'm into these. I'm probably into Thoughtseize, although I don't know that I cast Thoughtseize early. I think I cast Thoughtseize in like the mid-game once I have a threat already on board to protect my threat. Thalia similarly taxes non-creatures, but not the creatures. My opponent's stuff is still getting cast triggers. I don't like Aven Interrupter here. I think my Ephemerates are a little worse here. My opponent is often going to be playing Sweepers as removal, so this isn't protection. It's still fine to, Ephemerate a Solitude to reuse it. So maybe don't cut all of them. But I think I'm going to go down on them. Actually, Skyclaves are not great. They can just, attack some little mana stuff. I don't know that that matters. Let's keep those. Ephemerating White Orchid Phantom is quite good, though. I don't know that I deal enough damage with this hand for this to be reasonable. I buy time, but my opponent is top decking giant monsters. I think I need to close out the game faster than this. I don't think I like this. Yeah, this is much stronger. I have Ocelot, Pride, Guide of Souls, Overlord, and I don't know which one of these I'm getting rid of. I keep the other Overlord. So yeah, I think I'm still going to lead on this. I kind of end up making a turn 2 choice of whether or not I am playing Overlord or Ocelot Pride of mana efficiency versus options. I think I just want to get this going as soon as possible. Always yield to that. I'm going to just play this as a land. Crash in for 1. And then just start making cats. I just want the creatures here to get in for damage as soon as possible. And I think deploying the Ocelot Pride this turn results in me dealing more damage. Unless I specifically find something that blinks the Overlord off the Overlord trigger. I can also treat the Overlords as something that I do post Kozilek's command. 2 mana, Malevolent Rumble. Gonna find some mana. Opponent takes Ugin's Labyrinth. Solitude's kind of whatever here. We will do this. Yes. I'm gonna take Recruiter. Play Godless Shrine. No. Combat. Attacks. I don't think I am interested in playing a Solitude here to just get a couple of extra points of damage in. We'll do this stuff at end step. Looking good. We don't have enough mana to Recruiter into, a land destruction spell immediately. Or sorry, I said Kozilek's command before when I meant Kozilek's return. My bad. So, let's do this thing. Yes. Didn't hit anything new. Ocelot Pride is self-scaling. Guide of Souls I already have energy for. Guide of Souls. So 1 mana on that. Then make a land drop. I can do a Surveil land. These are just ticking down. This is 5 the second time around. Alright, that's slightly inconvenient for me. Might have used that stuff later with these. Utopia Sprawl some more. And we're chilling. I will fetch. How do we backstreet? I mean, it's not like a Thoughtseize that I might like at this stage, but it seems perfectly fine. Let's send in with this. Pay the energy. Deal 3 to my opponent. Drop an Ocelot Pride. Figure out what we're recruitering for. Up to 25 life. Emperor of Bones doesn't have cool things in graveyard. Flickerwisp on Overlord is okay. I have exactly 4 mana, which is awkward. So like getting another Solitude is a little weird. I could just get Witch Enchanter to guarantee 5th land drop to cast Solitude. I am into that. Let's even play it as a land. We live in a Sowing Mycospawn world after all. Alright, 2 cats, 2 triggers. There's the next land drop. Let's see what big awful thing happens. It is Null Drifter. So Kozilek's command. No, sorry, Kozilek's return nukes my stuff. Now my opponent starts slamming 7 drops. I am okay solituding that creature. It has Annihilator 1 attached to it, which is pretty annoying. And I am moving towards these Overlords. And Overlord plus Solitude to Overlord plus Recruiter is perfectly reasonable. And it's just a question of how good are my opponent's Haymakers. They don't have colorless mana yet, which may be why they are untapping their stuff. Yeah, okay, I think they figured it out. There's a kicked Sowing Mycospawn. I'll lose a land. They get an Eldrazi Temple. Oh, there's more. Okay. Not with Kicker this time. But my opponent now has an absurd amount of mana, rather than simply a lot of mana. To trigger Ocelot Pride, I think I'm okay with attacking with Solitude. I can like do Elia, Blink Overlord, Solitude nonsense in a minute. So I think I am good with this. Alright, opponent trades. I gained life this turn. I get 2 cats. So Overlord becomes a creature, and I have friends. How does an Emrakul the Promised end? Well, that's not great for me. I am thinking about whether or not casting this Thalia is a good or bad thing. So as of right now, my opponent can attack Overlord into Emrakul, Ocelot Pride into Sowing Mycospawn, and I lose 2 creatures. I'm going to have an Overlord for my next turn cycle. I'm not sure that keeping Ocelot Pride is that great. I think I'm just going to hold this in hand. Alright, Marsh Flats is not an impressive draw. My opponent can either skip that or deal 2 damage to me or fail to find whatever they think is best. Yeah, they just fail to find. I am going to lose my 2 creatures. My opponent will just say no to this. Or no, I guess the mill is required. Yeah, because the May is attached to the second half of the ability. Alright, so now this becomes a creature. Now I get to have a real turn. Oh, yeah. There is Solitude in the graveyard already. I don't need to Recruiter for Solitude. I can just cast a Solitude. That seems fine. So send it. Yes. Solitude. Oh my god, I have 4 lands. My opponent blew one up. So I am pitch casting then. Do that junking Recruiter of the Guard. Get Emrakul out of there. Yeah, the City's Blessing lined up so well with my lands. I thought I had a 5th one. My bad on that. And I'll pass turn. So I have Overlord active. I have Felia Overlord. I can Felia just creatures out of the way if I need to just get in for attacks. Uggin's Labyrinth. Oh, my opponent needed more mana? Oh boy. What is this getting? Cityscape Leveler. Is that like the 8 drop? Yeah. With Unearth. Yeah, not great. Not great for me. Oh. Yeah, no, I will take 3. Karn is now less defended. That's perfectly fine with me. We have other problems, but this seems like a good start for me. Ephemerate is not very good right now. So, send at Karn. Send at Karn. Does trample. I can block 3 here. I will do that. Belia trigger. Blink that. Yeah, so this doesn't happen if my opponent leaves this back. I'm not sure that it matters because my opponent is still attacking with a giant fucking monster. And, like, has a Null Drifter right here that they can pick up. I think we found one of the few decks that does just have inevitability over what I am doing. I am not... I don't know. Maybe I try to high roll with Felia here. Like, maybe the only way I win is if I draw a strong permanent. Oh, my opponent's just going to say no. Hate that. That's an instant, too. I do not miss getting bullied by that card. That's reasonable. Now my opponent gets to bring the Null Drifter into play. Power Stone's artifacts. Yeah, can't be spent to cast a non-artifact spell. Got it. So I don't really have 5 mana for a top deck. I can sacrifice a Power Stone to a Null Drifter trigger. Yeah, oh, that's unfortunate. Okay. We do this. Yes. I can play a 2 mana card. I don't know that a lot of this matters anymore. 8, 12, 15. Yeah, I don't think any of that matters anymore. I will tap out here. GG. We tried to fight, but I think my opponent just has a better endgame than we do, despite the fact that I think we go above the average modern deck by quite a bit. Alright, I am into this hand. We have Ocelot Pride, Guide of Souls. We have 2 land drops. We have Emperor of Bones. My opponent plays a graveyard-oriented deck. Thoughtseize actually doesn't set us back that much. It's obviously a very good card here, but I still have 1-drop into multiple 2-drop plays available. And Ocelot Pride is perfectly fine on its own, assuming that it can attack in. So, bam, and bam. I'll see what my opponent has to say about this. Start trying to figure out what Blood Crypt Thoughtseize represents in this format. Might be some sort of like fear of missing out deck. 13, DRC, and Nethergoyf. That's a 2/3. So that walls my creature temporarily. I have black already. I will have white if this gets a basic, so I can get a basic here, I think. We'll just fetch, get plains, play the Emperor. We're just going to start chipping away at the graveyard here. I'll take out that Thoughtseize. Unfortunately, this is still a 1/2, so Ocelot Pride does not get to attack in. But I can Skyclave next turn. Cycling. Okay, it is a Death's Shadow deck. Understood. Arena of Glory. Haste can be scary. Emperor of Bones may or may not actually end up being enough to keep this off of Delirium. Unholy Heat. I assume targeting the Emperor. Yep. That seems good. We're taking a fair amount of damage in the next entire turn cycle here. Although my opponent might not be attacking with the Nethergoyf, depending on what that last card is. I can attack back and then create a cat that jump blocks. So my opponent gets a card. Interesting. I'm going to go for the attack and hope there's not like a Bowmaster or anything here that disrupts this. Alright, there is not. Fantastic. I think this is worth the life. I'm going to say yes to this. I'm going to play a Skyclave. I think I'm more interested in taking out the flyer that I can't jump block than the Nethergoyf that is currently bigger. I think I just have more ways to deal with the Nethergoyf than I do the flyer. Alright, there's another one. Don't love that. Thoughtseize is real good here. Although, what does my opponent take? They take the Ephemerate, which is perfectly fine and reasonable. That is additional removal here. Wow, another playable card? Detective's Phoenix. Remember what I said about flyers? Great example. Great example on how those are scary. A gajillion D damage in the air. Don't love that. Oh, I'm just kind of short of that. Overlord fixes it. I just return like a Guide of Souls to hand. Then I have a pitch card for it. Okay. I do not want that. Now I am pending this. Yes. I will return something that I am not likely to want to get back later, which is probably even Interrupter Flies as a blocker. I'll get rid of Ajani here. I go to 1. All right. Not great. Definitely scared. Both of those crash in. I Solitude. Exile the Nethergoyf. The issue is that there's now 2 lethal flyers in play. That does not do anything here. I can gain 1 life. That doesn't get me out of this. We fall a little bit short. The Detective's Phoenix was really rough. My opponent being able to just use that last mana to push 6 damage, I think, gave them what they needed to get out of this. Alright, Sanctifier in Vex seems fine. Est Control as a way to clear my opponent's Death Shadows and Nethergoyfs and whatnot seems fine. I don't think I'm going to mess around with Fairy Macabre. So if I want these, what is going? I think my opponent's deck is just too mana efficient for Aven Interrupter to make sense. Conceptually, I could go down on some 1-drops here if I'm bringing in Pest Control. But my 1-drops are, like, very reasonable. I could also see it being Recruiters. It's sometimes a little hard to take that turn off, and I won't always have a pitch card. I have a okay Silver Bullet for the matchup. This is where I just need more reps. These cards both become weaker without the other. I don't think I'm going to go down 3 of one of them or the other. And we're going to do something like that and keep a mix so that I still have some potential to just draw both. Sure. Not the removal that I might like, but it is a reasonably redundant hand against a Thoughtseize deck. Let's see what my opponent's got. 17. Just immediate removal spell. That's fine. I think I'm into Felia and then play Overlord on my next turn. My opponent invests in creatures rather than holding up mana. I think that goes very well for me. A spell or ability would cause its controller to gain life. That player loses that much life instead. Okay. That does not seem very good to me. But alright. So I will... Yeah, I think I want to Impending this. So yes, I am not going to take Guide of Souls in the face of Reign of Gore, obviously. I think I'll take just another Felia. Not ideal, but I don't think it has to be ideal here. So junk that. We'll come back in a minute. Opponent's at 15. Then this happens. And I'm going to hold up Ephemerate rather than Surveil Land. So yes, let's take Ajani. I'll just kind of dodge the Reign of Gore. Bobble's fine. Sure. So they use the Bobble to inform their fetch decision with Bloodstained Mire. Ooh, going to 12. That is a Molten Collapse. This is why we held up Ephemerate. Basics fine. So we'll just go ahead and blink that. Fantastic. Yes. Could pick up a Witch Enchanter if I want to get rid of Reign of Gore. This is also just a land drop, which is, like, fine. And now I have any number of different ways to end this game. I think I just have an insane degree of inevitability. I think I am not going to blink this. I think I win either way, though. Let's do this. Yes. Pick up a Solitude. Go to combat. Send in for 8. Okay, yeah, that's just enough for my opponent. So if my opponent is playing Reign of Gore, then the Guide of Souls Ocelot Pride stuff is, like, worse. Can I just fully go off of it and make my opponent's Reign of Gore look worse than it already is? Like, the Reign of Gore just turns my Solitude into a burn spell as well. It would be 4 cards. I don't even know if I'm supposed to play around that. I incidentally can get rid of the Reign of Gore a bunch of different ways. I think I'm going to keep a bunch of 1-drops, but change my ratios. I think Guide of Souls is stronger by itself, but I think Ocelot Pride is easier to pump the brakes on if things go wrong. And I think this hand looks great. I will deal some amount of damage to myself with my own cards this game. Like maybe 5. Okay, so that's just my opponent holding up a removal spell. I don't need to play a 1-drop directly into that, I don't think. Yeah, am I fine with just doing tapped Witch Enchanter here? And then untapped Marsh Flats on my next turn? I think so. And then what I do on my turn could swing wildly in a bunch of different directions. ENT. Sure. This just, like, doesn't fly or anything. Yeah, that doesn't fly or anything. So I need white-black on this, unfortunately. So that's Godless Shrine. Pro black and red is real good. I don't think I need to Solitude this immediately. I guess there's Trample. Oops. Forgot about that part. On it junks another Goyf. Reveals a Vexing Bauble. Sure. Get rid of Pest Control. Yeah, I don't like how I played that out. Hopefully it doesn't matter. That can maybe fly eventually. There's some real amount of taxation here. That is a lot of Ocelot Pride. I think it's just correct to do this, though. I think I just want to get that ticking ASAP. Solitude is great with an asterisk by it. I'm going to pick up Ajani. Then I have a good cat-based game plan moving forward. And we're not the beatdown here. We are very much trying to have inevitability. So I'm not going to try to get in attacks here and trade damage back and forth. I just don't think that makes sense. Torpor Orb. Well, that's awfully rude. Okay. So ETB triggers are off the table. I don't think that's the end of the world. We're going to go plains, play a cat, play more other cat. Now I think I can send in for 2. Put my opponent at 19. Fear of missing out. Okay, so my opponent shuts off that thing's own ability there. Delirium is definitely off for my opponent. Attack with Ocelot Pride, threaten to flip a Johnny. Play cat. Seems fine. I think I can beat down with this even. Okay, I am getting the block here. All right, cool. So yes. So Ocelot Pride. Don't control another red permanent. I think I'm just going to make another cat to work towards the City's Blessing. So Ocelot Pride trigger happens. City's Blessing happens. Ocelot Pride trigger happens. And then I imagine 1+ on this is the end for my opponent. So we'll see if they can make some big moves here. Excuse me, 13 creatures? 13? What? Yeah. The Sanctifier Invec here, keeping that graveyard from being on, is doing a lot of work for me. Okay, so my opponent junks my Planeswalker. It might not matter. I might just be turning cats sideways and my opponent dies. Lol. Athos for blockers. Send it. Alright, opponent just going after the tokens here, not going after the original Ocelot Prides themselves. Opponent goes to 3. I honestly don't know that I need to put any more cards into play. Like, I'm just making infinite cats here. If my opponent has some weirdo sideboard card that takes out all this stuff, I don't think I need to walk into it. I mean, we've got cats. Oh, shit. Okay. Doesn't kill me. We got the GGs in chat. Well, there's a very good reason to not have played out Ocelot Pride. If I play out Ocelot Pride, I do take more damage. And a single point of damage could mean that a lightning bolt actually becomes lethal. Ooh, good decision on my end, I guess. All right, my opponent has revealed a Kahira companion. Might mean that they are something like a creature light control deck or a combo deck that is not really using creatures and it's just kind of free value for them to do so. Yeah, maybe control, but we cat. It is all we know. All right, we're in play. Surveil Land? No. Actual Factual Island. And Island Cycling. So I will assume that my opponent is playing some sort of control deck. Yep, alright. And they like their card. I get to start scaling with Ocelot Pride immediately, which is cool. Ooh, that's interesting. Send in with this. 18. This is already self-scaling. I think I just play the Overlord here. I think I just want to do this while this is more likely to resolve. Actual Factual Counterspell is not available. Alright, fantastic. Yes, I will pick up... Guide of Souls Ocelot Pride is obviously great. Thalia Overlord is also great. I think for mana efficiency, I'm going to pick up Guide of Souls. Then we make a cat friend. So, Wrath of the Skies and Supreme Verdict, I guess, are things that I should be thinking about. So, let's crash in for just 2 here. It happens. Opponent does not have white yet. I could Flickerwisp Overlord this turn. Sometimes my opponent just does not have a sweeper. I could also just take a half measure and do something like what I'm going to do here. Where if I lose another creature to Supreme Verdict, it's kind of whatever. I don't lose the Overlord. Yield to all of that. And I start getting energy generation going. I wish I had picked up Thalia instead of... I think I picked up Ajani. This could be white. No play yet. Okay. We are chilling. I can get hyper aggressive here. I think I'm just bashing in with the resources that I currently have, though. Don't know that I have a strong reason to play out more stuff based on what I've seen so far. All right. That's all reasonable. I think I'm going to cast a Recruiter of the Guard. This can trade with a counterspell, and I'm fine with that. Otherwise, it just replaces itself. And it does trade with a counterspell. And we're gaining life, so I keep doing the Ocelot Pride thing. Gives me more energy. We're up to the city's blessing. And this is all perfectly fine for me. There's another Meticulous Archive. My opponent likes their card. Okay, so this is the sort of thing that we were expecting all along. Are you shocking? Not shocking. Not actual factual counterspell. I have an Overlord coming in a minute. I think I am in fine shape. I can Surveil. I don't think I need that. So now we'll probably just go yeah. Just try to put our opponent in a position where I pressure their life total well while still threatening this Overlord. All right, my opponent tanked and then is ultimately spell snaring this, which is fine. It's coming. And this is threatening 2+1/+1 counters on it on the next attack, by the way. Ooh, that is a shock. Sure. I'm going to go ahead and crash on in. Possible my opponent's about to make like a 4/4 creature or something with something like a Shark Typhoon. But let's see what they have. That is a March of Otherworldly Light. That is fine. There could be like a Cryptic command. Would be annoying. But let's try this. I'll make a cat. Pass turn with Ephemerate available. This becomes a creature, which means that I can now Ephemerate it, which also means that it can now eat removal spells. Memory Deluge. Sure. Watery Grave. Just Wrath of the Skies for full value. Yeah, on X equals 5. I think I blink my Overlord here. Just convert it into something like a Recruiter of the Guard. My Ephemerate is not lining up to save it versus single target removal spells here. And Memory Deluge coming back in a minute is a major pain in the butt. So yes. Oh, Boggart Trawler is actually really good right now, nuking the Memory Deluge. I'm going to pick that up. So not getting any value off of the Ephemerate. Sure. I'm just going to go ahead and cast this. Keep my opponent from flashing back their Memory Deluge. And pass the turn. My Skyclaves and Flickerwisps here are not very good. I want standalone cards here. Ward 3 on that. I think I have another Surveil land that I can use. You probably just accept most cards that have power and toughness at this point. There are some that are certainly better than others. When I said most cards, I did mean most cards. I don't think I'm going to keep that one. Yeah, I mean, c'est la vie. Send in for 3. A Solitude. That's very good against the stuff that I currently have. I could unimpressively play out both creatures, or I could try to get some synergy going later. I think I'm going to try to get some synergy going later. This may be kind of a boring game where I'm just trying to burn minutes off of my opponent's clock. That's my guess for where this is going. I think it is likely that I have lost here. Oh, yikes. These are 5 mana and dodge Skyclave in a very frustrating way. And I pretty much never beat that ultimate. I'm going to thin a Godless Shrine out of the deck. I'm going to thin a Plains out of the deck. I mean, that's really good. Opponent has 1 card in hand. Where does this put it? 3rd from the top. I think I'm going to go for multi-spelling here and kind of hope that my opponent has nothing. So yes, Solitude for Solitude is reasonable. Ocelot Pride, not crazy. Don't have any energy right now. Guide of Souls? Guide of Souls is sort of interesting. Let's do that. And then this entire turn is based around resolving this Flickerwisp. And it happens. So we're going to blink the Overlord here. Now I get to use another Overlord trigger. The Overlord does make you return a non-avatar, so I can't just like indefinitely loop Overlords together. Yes. Solitude now to blank my opponent's Solitude is reasonable. Felia is interesting. I think I'm going to pick up a Solitude. Oh, it's another Solitude. So I could Solitude a Solitude right now, and I know it is safe. I don't know that I have to pitch the card, though. Alright, Teferi Plus, Kahira to hand. That increases the power of these by 1. They are elementals. Oh, fuck, I forgot about the Vigilance. Oh, no. I just take 8. Start pressuring Teferi in the air. Yeah, I think I'm going to take 8. I'm at 20. This game is not about life totals right now. It's about exhausting resources. Okay. So let's Skyclave, Counterspell. Let's Ocelot Pride, gain energy, go to combat, swing with everything at Teferi, have exactly 3 energy. Yes, make this fly. Ooh, kill Teferi. That means that I have the city's blessing, I get 2 more energy, I get 2 more cats. Game's not over, but I am in a significantly better position. Now these Solitude hits are coming. I will just chump block with cat tokens. I'm fine with that. My cat tokens will just come back. My opponent just gains some life. Prismatic ending. Okay. I mean, it's obviously good. So we're gonna Solitude. Opponent's got 1 card. We'll see if it's a counterspell. Cool. Are you an elemental or anything? You're a giant. I can get rid of a Solitude so my opponent can gain less life on the crackback. I think that's more important than the Vigilance since I have a bunch of flyers. So go to Punchies. Send on in. I will pay the energy. Goes on Wisp just to spread out the love a little bit. And I'm going to play my land drops in case some sort of Overlord nonsense ends up happening. Fuck, my opponent found another Haymaker. Oh no, it's just the Hall of Storm Giants. Okay, that's fine. So, this is a 4-3. This still trades with my own Solitude. I think I am okay with that trade. 17 when that's all said and done. Mystic Gate, you've got it. Ooh, hell yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. I don't successfully have the ward cost covered yet. 17. Gonna pass. Oh god. With that on the stack, I'm gonna put an extra creature into play. Just take out the Solitude. Sorry, take out the Kahira. This is going to be an exceptionally long game 1. Buckle the fuck up. I have 1 energy right now. I have a gajillion energy right now. I'm good with this. Nice. Trigger. Yes. Her Bones is a thing. Felly is a thing. Ender's not doing a lot. I'm gonna do Aven Interrupter. Just any spell? Yeah. But I changed my mind on what I was getting. So now I don't have the extra energy. So that's a thing. Opponent fetches. Just a plains. I actually have fewer cards than my opponent does as of right now. I mean, yeah. If you're gonna make my life awkward, I will make you pay 5 for your Teferi. Does make it awkward if my opponent has like a Wrath of the Skies or a Supreme Verdict, but they don't. I really thought that we were going to lose that one. Did my opponent do something that let me attack the Teferi? I vaguely remember getting an opportunity to attack the Teferi when it was at exactly 6 loyalty with exactly 6 power. If my opponent had the opportunity to play around that, like that was the defining moment where I got back into this game. Sanctum Prelate is good at stopping Supreme Verdict exactly, but not really good at Wrath of the Skies, which is a variable cost card. Not really into that. As the game goes very long, White Orchid Phantom is not crazy for Hall of the Storm Giants. Dahlia is slightly annoying. There's red and black cards from graveyards. My Skyclave Apparitions are pretty bad. I would like to replace those. Let's get those out of the deck. My Ephemerates also are not like crazy good until they are crazy good. My opponent is trying to board wipe me a lot of the times rather than 1-for-1 remove my stuff. But when it works, it is real good. I could play a couple of Thought Seizes as well to just punch holes. It's a bad top deck when we go very long like we just did in that game. This makes me more threat dense and lowers my curve, both of which I like. This is fine. This is also fine. Opponent keeps on 6, so I'm up a card already. That's nice. Let's start with a Guide of Souls and call it a turn. Second land drop and a shock. Rest in peace. That is a very strong statement to how good my opponent thinks the Balemurk Overlord thing is. Playing Ocelot Pride here is really weird, because if my opponent has Wrath of the Skies, I eat a very bad 2-for-1. don't think I'm going to open myself up to that. I think I'm just going to play Ajani, even though it is less immediate value, and send in. Opponent's at 16. Edge Maze. An opponent is chilling. I absolutely do not mind playing Athalia here, although it does make Ephemerate ever so slightly more awkward. Just makes the X cost of my opponent's spells more awkward. I think I am into it. I'll put these on the Guide of Souls itself. Opponent is at 10. What's the disaster case here? The disaster case is instant speed removal spell on Thalia into X equals 2 Wrath of the Skies. Or I can just play Ocelot Pride here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 damage next turn. Ocelot Pride is lethal next turn. I can't get Wrath of the Skies. I can't get Supreme Verdicted. No, I could get Wrath of the Skies for X equals 1. I would have 3 power in play, but I would have a flipped Planeswalker. That's okay. I think that's okay. Playing this one a little more aggressively than last time. That is a subtlety. I am fine redrawing that card. That is a Solitude. Solitude junks Thalia. Then a Teferi is very reasonable. Just getting Guide of Souls out of play. Oh, wow. Opponent has 0 cards in hand now? Wow. Got it. So I kill Teferi. I attack for 2. Opponent is at 8. 1, 2, 3. Let's just do this. Yeah. Always yield to that. I have Ephemerate up for a single target removal spell. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. If I play and resolve a creature, that's lethal. Alright, good stuff for me there. My opponent's Rest in Peace did not interact with the things that I actually had. GG's. Alright, we've got a reasonable opening hand. This is round 5. It has been very pleasant playing this deck, so it has gone quickly, despite the fact that I've actually been recording for quite a while. Stomping Ground. Sure. I don't know exactly what this indicates. I'm going to assume that this as a land is fine and just play Guide of Souls off of it. I am probably playing Felia into Overlord as the, air quotes, unfair thing that I am trying to do. Are you just Eldrazi too? You are just Eldrazi. Okay. Got it. So I will send in for just 1. Then I'll have Felia at my opponent's end step into Overlord. Beyond that, hopefully we end up finding some Solitudes to kill opposing Eldrazi threats. It's a 3rd Ancient Stirrings. Holy shit. Opponent has dug so deep. Just choosing more land. So they must have monsters in hand. Eldrazi Temple and passing the turn. The fact that Kozilek's command is an instant is some shit. Let the record show. Was not cast. Do that. Do this. Do the thing. Pick up a Skyclave. I mean, it has some text, I guess. Yeah. It's not currently a creature. I can't ephemerate this yet, and it doesn't make sense to ephemerate things into an instant speed board wipe. Such is life. I am trying to go wide of single target removal. Oh, no. Alright. I don't remember exactly how this works, but it's a pseudo show and tell card. Yeah. Exile top 3 cards of library and put a creature in. Okay, not great for me. Even Interrupter not lining up well versus this either. I can Skyclave this though, which is probably what I'm doing with my turn. Just Skyclave while holding up Ephemerate. Get out. Ephemerating my Skyclave would actually give my opponent a 4/4, which is not nothing. So I don't think I am going to do the Talisman. I guess I could have gone for Talisman and then Ephemerated to also take out the Rebirth Engine. Maybe that was the line. Gives my opponent a 2/2, which I don't super care about. I think a lot of times I want to Ephemerate this later to loop Solitudes. Rove, sure. Alright, the 7th mana is relevant here. Alright, opponent does not do that, which is honestly scarier for me. Let's find Solitude, huh? Would be cool. Felia? Felia is okay. I'm gonna try to high roll better than that. I'm going to try to high roll better than that. Did not succeed immediately. What about now? Multiple Ojanis. Can just pick up Guide of Souls to fly. This thing has every keyword known to man. Might just be picking up Felia now. Alright. I will intend on playing Felia. My Overlord's tick down. I have Aven Interrupter if my opponent plays a big Haymaker. God, that's so many keywords. Yup. That's a big swing. So I will play out Felia. Don't think I get punished by anything for fetching to take a Godless Shrine out of the deck. I might actually need the mana. Okay. We can work with this. We can work with this. You don't have any ward bullshit. Oh my god, ward pays 7 life? Are you fucking kidding me? Okay. Okay. I did this wrong then. I should have checked that before I cast the Flickerwisp. Good god. Okay. 7 life? Cool, cool. So attack with Felia. Blink the other one of these. It just also has first strike. Yeah. Now, this stuff comes back. And we need to find a Solitude. We found a Solitude. That's great. And the other one comes back. Yes. My opponent plays another Sire 7 Deaths. It's a bit of a problem. I am Solitude ephemerating this first one. Don't have Aven Interrupter up right now. Take another Solitude. Ugh. Oh no. Yes. This is so much mana. 3 cards on top. Bad news for Phil fans. That is probably not fucking good for me. Just as a reminder, that is exactly 5 damage. Cool. My opponent gets a little friend. 5 damage marked on that. That doesn't super matter. So I Solitude. I'm going to Solitude Ephemerate. If I leave the other Solitude in my hand, my opponent could exile my own creature. So sort of oddly, I think I am pitching the other Solitude, despite the fact that it is a perfectly good card. Oh, but my opponent could also Aven Interrupter counter my own Ajani. The Aven Interrupter might be worse for me. Yeah. So, ow. Yup. Take that out. Ephemerate Solitude. Solitude Emra, cool. Now I need to think for a second. So as of right now, my opponent could Solitude, pitch my Ajani, get rid of my Solitude that's in play. So it is probably better for me to Solitude that illusion token than to let my opponent do that. And hopefully my opponent does not have a super productive turn. Okay, so my opponent's just not going to cast that. I jumped through some hoops, but I think I just ended up drawing 2 cards for my own turn. Alright. Getting Mindslavered, usually worse than that. Okay, that's not really what I wanted. Send in for 3. Don't worry. Opponent is only at 49. It's cool. And my opponent kept the next 2 cards on top, so... I'm at 5 life. I'm at 5 life. Not at 7 or more life. Strong preference to or more there. Can we get out of this? I don't think we can get out of this. By Recruiter, say yes. Not enough mana for Emperor of Bones. Not enough life for Solitude. Yes, I have enough life for Solitude. Actually, I have 8 life if I... No, fucking first strike. Fuck. Play to my opponent messing up. So send in Felia, Blink Recruiter. I would like my opponent to block Felia so that I can gain 3 life. Why is opponent good? I am at 5 life. I cannot target this. I am dead. Good game. Kozilek's command being an instant... Sorry, Kozilek's return being an instant speed board wipe that comes back a second time and can also take these out is such a beating. Don't like how this matchup feels for me. I like White Orchid Phantom, and then a lot of other stuff is kind of whatever. Skyclaves are bad. I want those out. Do I just Sanctum Prelate on 3? Maybe I Sanctum Prelate on 3. Maybe I also need Thoughtseize to punch a hole. Even Interrupter not lining up the best. I'm probably trim an Ephemerate without missing it. This is 5 lands. I don't think I'm into that. Alright. I think I will send back Witch Enchanter. That can maybe be a spell later in the game. Let's Surveil. I do not need that land. I just got rid of one land. I would love for my opponent to play something like an Eldrazi Temple here. That is just a good target for White Orchid Phantom. I am going to play White Orchid Phantom more or less no matter what on my turn, unless my opponent leads on a basic, because I just want to be able to Flickerwisp it this game. Thoughtseize is fine. There's some times where I don't Flickerwisp next turn, and I Ajani and Thoughtseize. There is a basic for my opponent to get, but it knocks my opponent off of a color, makes things like Ancient Stirrings slightly more awkward. Lightning Bolts. Now I have to worry about that too. Thanks, I hate it. I think I need to plan my turn by doing this. I just need to know what's coming. Fuck! So bad. So very, very bad for me. I mean, I guess I'll take Kozilek's Return. That's not what I wanted to see. I can play Ajani into Lightning Bolt, or I can play Ocelot Pride into Lightning Bolt. I think I'm going to play my less mana efficient card. Yeah, we did not successfully punch a hole there. Yeah, I'll just cross that Lightning Bolt out. Oh? Not bolting, huh? Sure. That's not a great draw. Send in. Ocelot Pride not looking super impressive right now. I can Flickerwisp the Ajani and maybe Force Bolt. Just like doesn't feel great. I'm gonna try to hold that Flickerwisp. So that is spawns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, I have Solitude for Sire of Seven Deaths. That's not the end of the world, but the fucking Kozilek's Return that comes back is too much. Like, I could Solitude a spawn to stop it for one turn. I do not want to be playing this matchup. I'll lose 7 life here. I think I need to keep a Solitude in hand for the future. The ward is so brutal. Talisman's fine. Okay. Recruiter is fine. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could get White Orchid Phantom and blow up an Eldrazi Temple here. That's very good if my opponent does not just cast a 7-drop on their next turn, and very bad if they do. I think I'm going to play towards the timeline where they don't do something cool this turn. Alright. So you're telling me there's a chance. Send it. 22. White Orchid Phantom. Blow up Eldrazi Temple. There is a basic forest, though, so they're not to wasteland levels of good yet. Ancient Stirrings? My primary problem here is that my opponent is still above their starting life total. So even if I buy a couple of turns here, I'm not actually dealing that much damage. This is where I need like Orzhov Blink or Ephemerate stuff to get the job done. Okay. Ancient Stirrings, being able to pick up Kozilek's command. I hate that. I hate that so much. I've never seen that before. Because, like, you don't usually play Ancient Stirrings in Legacy. That means it can also dig for this, right? Oh, God. I hate this matchup. Okay. Lightning Bolt is reasonable. Wish I had one more mana to just hardcast this Overlord. We'll see how many more basics my opponent has. I'm probably picking up another White Orchid Phantom. Oh, it might not be because the fucking Kozilek's command does everything. Okay, no, my opponent did not fire off. Oh, they did not have colorless. No, yeah, they did. Oh, but they couldn't exile both. That's the problem. Yeah, let's keep trying to disrupt. I'll target a land that produces colorless here. Is there a third basic? There's not a third basic. Fuck yeah. All right, we're fighting the good fight. What game is this? If I win this, do I have to play another one? I don't remember anymore. Time is an illusion. Another Lightning Bolt. All right, I can hardcast a Solitude. That is a thing that I am now legally allowed to do. I don't know that it's a good thing to do. I might be on the beatdown plan and hope that my opponent does not get to 7 mana ever. I don't know that that is very realistic. My opponent's deck has Kozilek's Command and Ancient Stirrings and stuff to help them hit their land drops. Probably Malevolent Rumble as well. And that jerk, that just gets to find Eldrazi Temple. I think since there is physically a creature in play, I just bite off on the Solitude and hope to continue to top deck well. Increasing my life total is super relevant for answering future Sire of 7 Deaths as well. So every hit for 3 that I get works me towards being able to answer 2 of those this game, or being able to answer 1 after doing something else. Opponent's at 19, I am at 12. Couple turns away from Overlord being live. Holy shit, there's not another mana! That's great. I think I am going to take lands out of the deck here. Again, because I have 5 drops that can want me to have stuff after. We can't get too excited. My opponent is a lightning bolt deck, but that's real good. 15. I think I'm just going for it. No, I can go for it on my opponent's turn. Yeah, let's go for it on my opponent's turn, because they might tap out for Kozilek's Command. Also, it should be illegal to have Kozilek's Command and Kozilek's Return in the same deck. Alright, so this is going to be Spawns and Scry. So, Lightning Bolt is not online currently. I could do this now. I think I am going to wait. Let's see how wild this gets. What is this one? Ward, sacrifice 2 permanents. Oh, and Kozilek's Return. Cool. Oh, shit. That does not work the way that I thought I did. Oh, I just fucked up. I thought there was another click through to put it on the stack. Oh, so I'm supposed to ephemerate there, ward 2, sacrifice the 2 permanents, get rid of that. Oh, that misclick just probably cost me this game. Well, okay. Game's not over. Opponent has 4 cards and a bunch of mana now. But, like, this was not a problem. And now it is. It's just lethal. Whatever. Just draw Solitude, idiot. Nope. Yeah, no, I messed that up. That one's on me. Yeah, so I can ephemerate either one of my creatures to end up... Yeah, so I flicker Solitude with Ephemerate, nuke that Eldrazi, give my opponent a bunch of life, sacrifice both of my creatures, and then at least the board is empty. I don't know that I win from there still, but I'm still in the fight. This league was sweet. I had a lot of fun playing this. Overall thoughts on the deck list. I like the main deck a lot. I don't know that I would make any changes to the main deck. I think the Aven Interrupter is like one of the sketchiest cards here. It is fine when you're already ahead. It feels a little rough when you are behind on board, though, or when you are tight on mana. And I think both of those are common occurrences. I could see, like, changing this to another Emperor of Bones or something like that. Emperor of Bones is just another thing that helps you get that value off of the Overlord of the Balemurk mills. But if all I'm thinking about doing is changing, like, one-ish card, that's probably a sign that the main deck feels good. Sideboard felt mid. I wish that I had more copies of the things that I had instead of utility. Like, in this league, if I had a pile of Sanctifier Invax, a pile of White Orchid Phantoms, a couple Thoughtseizes, and Pest Controls, that would have been better than this entire, like, range of Hate Bears that I had access to. The main deck is generic enough and solid enough where I don't think you need to sideboard all that much unless you are bringing in cards that matter. I don't play enough Modern to say, like, the sideboard should not be built like this with confidence, but is the turn 4 Ataki, Containment Priest, Canonist Thalia, whatever, better than just drawing a relevant card earlier in a matchup where it has a high impact? Not sure. I don't know the average Goldfish turn of the various combo decks in the format. Recruitering for those cards seems like it might be slow in the current format. Maybe without a full play set of Thoughtseizes, you can't not have the Hate Bears there. Maybe you can change the sideboard if you are playing a bunch of Thoughtseizes. I am fine with the Pest Controls that are in the sideboard, even though there's some tension with my 1-drops. I was very happy to have those in the matchup versus the... I think it was a Rakdos aggro deck, like a Rakdos Death Shadow deck. I was very happy to have those there, even though it made some of my sideboarding a little wonky. The deck won games through, cards like Reign of Gore and Torpor Orb. Got decent pivot plans. I think this deck has a very high skill ceiling. I think this deck makes a lot of choices. Those are both things that I like. I like it when I have agency in my games and my decisions matter. But there are definitely some times where I didn't have enough knowledge to make the correct decision. I was definitely a little unsure about sideboarding. But Carson, like two thumbs up for this deck. This feels very smooth. I like this a lot. Some of our cards did not line up well today versus the things that we were facing. Skyclave Apparition in particular was missing like the big Teferi and the Eldrazi and stuff that we were facing. But I like what is here. Great work. And if you want to build this deck for your own event, POAmagic.com, promo code ThrabenU, save you a little bit on the order. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. See ya!